this is the time to start nurturing your business and get it set up for, the best summer you could ever have. Every year, this time, you need to be thinking, I'm going into this summer and I'm gonna rake in enough money to where I don't have to worry about it next off season if things slow down. Sometimes we get so laser focused that, it's hard to see what's going on. We either get too laser focused or we get too distracted. It's a matter of saying, you know what, let me be open to what's going on so where I'm seeing the blind spots, but I'm focusing on what matters and I'm not leaving anything out. Okay, so that's what we're gonna talk about today. We're here to optimize. We're here to get your profits up immediately so that you go into this summer. That's when the opportunity comes, right? You've got to be able to strike while the iron's hot. Right now it's February, right? We're coming out of the slow season. Many people are feeling a little strain with the cash flow and the concern and the worry that starts to build up at this point, because after a few months of things being slower than normal, it's easy and almost natural to start doubting yourself, to start doubting your market, to start doubting your marketing, to start doubting this business. And what we have to know and what we have to remember is that, look, we're in winter. And the same way that we're in winter, outside, if you guys could see, the trees are bare, right? It's winter, but we know after winter, what comes after winter? Spring, right? What comes after spring? Summer. Like, that. You have to remind yourself of that. Because I know I've gone through it many years in the business, especially my first few years in the business before I really got myself in the right mindset and prepared my business for the off season. It was, it was like the most stressful time. Right? Like everything you feel you're doing to get to that next level, all of a sudden it seems like it stopped working. If that's you today, just know this is part of the business that we need to be able to navigate around. And what I want to talk to you about today is thinking forward. Because we could sit and we can complain and we could say, you know what, it's slow, I don't understand what's happening, it's dried up. And we could get online and we could chat about how hard things are, or we say, you know what, what's good about this, right? And I know that's hard. I know it's hard when the money's not flowing to say what's good about this. But what's good about this is there's time now, right? This is the sweet spot. This is the time to plant those seeds. This is the time to start nurturing your business and get it set up for, the best summer you could ever have. Every year, this time, you need to be thinking, I'm going into this summer and I'm gonna rake in enough money to where I don't have to worry about it next off season if things slow down. We're gonna talk about tactical things that you need to do and you need to apply. And I want you to think about this. I want you to just remember this as we go through this right now. Maybe write this down. Keep everything simple. Focus on simplicity. And I say that because today we're gonna go through the mover's profit wheel. Okay, I'm going to walk you through it, and we're going to actually do it different today. We're going to reverse engineer it today. When you're committed to mastery, there are things that are presented to you like, hey, you should or you could be doing this thing. And you're like, oh man, I'm not doing that. I could be doing that better. You should and you could be doing this thing. Oh, I'm not doing that either. And before you know it, you could feel overwhelmed on all the things that you're not doing, and then feel even more stuck. So I want you to go through this today and really think about, what are the one or two things that you could work on immediately that are gonna make the biggest impact. Your ability to focus on one thing at a time, I'm telling you, will be what brings you to that next level. You're never gonna get it all done. My to-do list is just never ending, right? And the day that I accepted that, changed my life. The day that I accepted that, it's never going to end. You're never going to get to this place of it's all done. It's all good. We could just sit back and we could just chill. Okay? You'll get to a place where your business is running, your business is flowing, the consistency of the cash flow is there, right? But in order to get that, you go through a process of becoming a person that once you get there, that person won't accept that and will want to do more and will want to make it better and will want to expand. whether it's, you're sitting there and you've got your notebook out and you're like, hey, I'm taking notes, I'm ready, let's go, and I'm going to follow everything. Or maybe you're on the road and you need to be in the car and you're just passively listening. What you're looking for is you're looking for those light bulbs. You're looking for those nuggets. You're looking for that little distinction that's like, oh, okay, that one thing that I've been doing that one way, if I just shift this a little bit, that's what will make all the difference. And I just want to remind you of your role. Your role is moving CEO. Your role is the leader, right? And I say that because when things are slow, when things don't seem to be going your way, it takes a shot at your confidence. Right? We need that confidence in order to be able to lead our team. And so remind yourself that, look, mastery is not a destination, it's a journey. You're on the journey to get there. And as long as you're consistently chipping away at making things better, right, and you're staying focused on that, you'll get to where you want to go, right? So if you're being, too hard on yourself right now, give yourself a little break, and trust in the process, trust in the business, trust in yourself to make this happen, right? I will never say this business is easy. No, if somebody's got footage of that, please send it to me. I've never said the moving business is an easy business. This business is a hard fucking business, right? I mean, really. But it's lucrative. You're providing a service that people need. And even though you might not get the thank yous for all the great jobs you get as much as you'd hope, you are helping people to settle in and transition into their life in a big way, more than you know. You're making a big difference in their life. Having moved twice cross country in the last 12 months, I can tell you that personally. So, I want you to also, my job too is to help you see the blind spots. Help you see the things that you might not be seeing right now. Sometimes we get so laser focused that, it's hard to see what's going on. We either get too laser focused or we get too distracted. It's a matter of saying, you know what, let me be open to what's going on so where I'm seeing the blind spots, but I'm focusing on what matters and I'm not leaving anything out. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. What we're going to do, if you guys have seen this before, go with me. This is, we're here to optimize. We're here to get your profits up immediately so that you go into this summer. That's when the opportunity comes, right? You've got to be able to strike while the iron's hot. So I'm going to draw a circle on the page here. I want you guys to do the same. Get out a piece of paper. I'm going to draw this circle out, and then I'm going to draw the spokes. I'll show it to you in a second here. Okay, so basically it's a circle, and then start with a Y in the middle. All right, do the Y, and then just like connect those two. So you'll have 5 slices. Don't worry about it. I've done this many times. That actually looks better than normal. All right. So we've got that. And then we're going to draw kind of a line underneath it that just represents the road that the wheel is on. Okay? Represents the road that it's on. I'll give you guys a second there with that. Okay, so what we're going to do, this normally goes clockwise, right? We're going to go counterclockwise. We're going to reverse engineer the profit wheel. And we're going to start at the bottom, okay? The bottom, the road underneath it all. When you think about the profit wheel, the idea of this is that we want to bring into balance the 5 areas of our business, the fundamental areas of our business. We need to bring those in balance, because if you're booking too many jobs but you can't service them, that's a problem, right? If you've got a ton of movers and a ton of trucks but you don't have work, that's a problem, right? If your marketing is great but your customer service sucks, that's a problem. If everything is good but you're not making the profit, that's a problem. So by bringing everything into balance, we start to be able to manage the business a little better to where it doesn't feel like a bumpy road, right? To where it doesn't feel like there's big dents in the wheel. This will all make sense as we do it. But the bottom, the foundation of all of this, the wheel itself is your business and the 5 fundamentals. Underneath that is your life, okay? And we're just going to start with this, and then we're going to get into the business. We're going to reverse this and do it in the reverse order. Okay, so this is your life. And what this represents is that the road, no matter how smooth your business is running, if that road is not smooth, if you've got a bumpy, rocky road, your business is still not going to operate as smoothly as you'd like it to, right? So today we're going to kind of workshop this together today, guys, and we're going to go through these different areas so that you can start thinking about where do you, I don't know each of your specific circumstances on where you are. You might be like, Louis, I'm dialed in. I've got that on point. That area, we're working on this, and this. But I want to give you the tool and get you thinking about how to improve these different areas. And the life piece, you guys, I say you got to profit in business and thrive in life. Without that, you will never reach your full potential. So with life, the thing that as we go into season, like I want to make sure you're thinking about this, like, okay, forget about like right now it's a little slow. Things are about to hit the fan in the next couple of months and you're going to be as busy as you want to be. You've got to make sure that you're in a place where you're feeling centered, you're feeling strong, you're feeling confident, and you're your best self to be able to handle that. All right? So with life, you want to focus on 3 things, right? We're going to keep this pretty simple, but 3 things. You want to focus on your energy, your focus, and your stress management. Your energy, your focus, and your stress management. This is so important. I can tell you right now, I had a baby about 5 weeks ago. My wife had a baby, right? We had a baby about 5 weeks ago. Thank you. And I forget because it's been 2.5 years since we had my daughter, and now we've got my son. And, not getting sleep, not being able to run my normal routine in the morning, not being able to meditate, not being able to work out, I could feel the difference, right? I could feel it. So it's like, I share this stuff and I teach this stuff, and it's almost like I forget what it's like not to do it until I don't do it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so important. And last week, I took the whole month off in January, and last week I started again with my routine. I protected that space, right? You've got to fight for it. So, everybody's got a reason or an excuse why they can't do the things for themselves, to get themselves in a good state, to get themselves in a good place mentally and physically, because you're the prize racehorse of this business, right? Everything in your business relies on you, right? It relies on you. And if you're not at your best, your business isn't going to be your best. You know this. My team could tell you, like, when I was talking to them a couple weeks ago, I was like, guys, bear with me. I was like, I'm mush, I'm just not operating at the level that I normally operate at. And it reminded me how important this is. So energy, focus, and stress management. All right, so let me just give you a few things, of what you could kind of pick and choose of what you need to do. But I can tell you, breaking a sweat daily, I don't care what you do, what form of exercise, is amazing for your mental, okay? It connects the neurotransmitters in your mind, gets you firing on all cylinders, helps your focus, helps your energy, helps your mindset in all areas, right? Without that, we feel lethargic, we feel stressed, we don't have the energy. And it's so easy. You've got to just carve out this time. All right? Meditation. I was like, you know what? I'm going to skip that. I'm good. Right? I've been doing it for so long that I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I don't need it. And last week I was like, you know what? I got to go back to that. I got to make that a priority. Yes, it's taken me 20, 30 minutes extra in the morning that I feel like I could be going and doing because we're doing a lot in the business. We're growing, we're expanding, we've got a lot going on. And, it's easy to go like, I need that extra time, right? Especially as a high achiever, which, most of you, that's why you're here, right? That's your mindset. That's how you view yourself. But taking that extra time in the morning is everything. Sleep, right? Getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I know that's like, against this whole hustle culture that social media has promoted of go, 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 I'll sleep when I die. That's great if what you do for a living doesn't require your mind. And if you're the moving CEO, if you're the leader, you need to be sharp and clear more than you need to put in extra hours. And I'm telling you that I've been where you've been. I used to sleep at the office 5 nights in a row, keep trucks out till 2, 3 in the morning, send them back out at 6 a.m. Like, I've been there. I've been on both sides. So it's not like I'm somebody that hasn't been where you are in the business. And I can tell you, if you prioritize that, go to sleep a little earlier, right? Because you want to wake up a little, like there's some sacrifice. You might have to sacrifice a couple episodes on Netflix, or you might have to sacrifice whatever it might be for this. But this is about this will directly tie into your profits, okay? So my biggest recommendation would be to have a consistent morning routine, whatever that is. Wake up at the same time and run the same sequence of events, right? You wake up and do this, and this, right? I wake up, I have some water with some powdered greens in there. I stretch for 20 minutes. I read. I meditate. I get my daughter up, make her breakfast, head to the gym, right? Whatever yours is, if you've only got 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, whatever it might be, just make it consistent, okay? Really important. All right, so now we're going to move on back to the profit wheel. And we're going to go over to this side. Okay. We're reverse engineering this today, okay? This is accounting. That's accounting over there, all right? So typically that would be the last of the 5. And we're going to start with accounting today. Accounting, your numbers. Is that better? There you go. Okay. So look, here's what it comes down to with accounting. You want to focus on getting your net profit, if you're not there, to 20%. Okay? That's your goal right now. Focus on getting to 20%. Many people have told me, Louis, when you first said this, I thought you were crazy. 20%, I didn't see how in the world we could do it. Then they hit it, and listen, there's people out there that go to 30, 35% net profit and run a great business. Focus on getting to 20% if you're not there. That's your first milestone this year. And we're going to talk about how to do that. So I'm not just like leaving you with that. But that starts with running your P&L every month, running your profit and loss every month. Okay, it's early enough in the year right now, it's February, that if you haven't been doing it, go back and just get it done for January. Like, literally, if you've got to sit yourself for a weekend with QuickBooks and figure it out, or take one day and find yourself a bookkeeper that could help with this, get it done. If we were in the end of the year, if we were in November, I'd say, you know what, just wait till January and get it done. All right, but we're early enough in the year that you could have one full year of information and data to start reviewing. It is so powerful. I didn't review my numbers for the first 7 years of my business until the recession came and almost put me out of business. And then I realized I needed that clarity in order to control what was going on. And by reviewing that every month, that gives you the pulse of what's happening in your business. We want to get you to a place where you're able to run your whole business off of reports and meetings and certain block time that you're using to implement new initiatives. All right, so focus on 20% in accounting. That's your target. All right, that's your target. Put it up on the wall, whatever you've got to do, but you've got to track it. You've got to track it. It's one of the easiest reports to generate. All you've got to do is track the income that goes in and the income that goes out. If you're using Smart Moving, most of you are, it integrates directly with QuickBooks. So all your income will go exactly where it needs to go. And then you integrate it with your bank and your credit cards, and that's it, right? Get a bookkeeper to do some of the journal entries, and you're done. This is a fundamental part. If you're going to be in business, you've got to do this. I was told this for years by my CPA, but I was making so much money. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I was also leaving a lot of money on the table, right? For a young kid, 20, 21, 22, 23, till 27, maybe 26, 27, till I started actually doing it, I was making so much. Now I'd be looking at it like, I'm leaving so much money on the table, right? So you've got to get that going, all right? Well, we're not going to overwhelm the accounting piece. That's the thing to focus on. That's the thing to dial in on. All right. Then we're going to go to customer satisfaction, okay? Customer satisfaction, which is right there. Let's see. Okay, customer satisfaction. And the reason that we're reversing this is because we want to make sure what is the outcome we're after, right? The outcome you're after, the reason you got in the business was to make money, right? So we're starting there. Then you say, how do you make money? Well, you do a really good job for your customers. If your customers think you suck, you're not going to last long. You're not going to last long. You've got to make sure your customers are happy. So the first thing you want to think about is your customer journey. Your customer's journey. You want to take a look at, from the minute they contact you, what is their journey? What are the touch points of when they speak to somebody, the emails they receive, confirmation calls, 7-day checkup calls, packing checkup calls, the movers showing up, your interaction after the move, getting the survey, getting the review, right? We've got to be proactive about the review. So these are the different areas that we need to be looking at. So with customer satisfaction, I also want you to think about this, write this down, sales to service consistency. The biggest problem with customers being upset is that in the sales process, they have certain expectations that are set. And when those expectations are not met, they're upset, right? Expectations not met, they're upset. And we set those in the sales process. So the best way to really look at this customer journey is to look at the sales to service consistency. What you're promising your customer on the phone or on your on-site estimate, is that what's being delivered? If not, we've got to bring those in alignment. And you also want to look at it the other way as well and say, you know what? All the stuff we're doing on the service end, are we highlighting those features in our sales pitch and the benefit of those features to the customer? If you're protecting the floors, are you talking about that in the sales pitch? Because we're going to get to sales in a minute and you need to be converting more. If you're protecting the door jambs, right? If you're, put your movers through some kind of training process, whatever it might be. I've got a client that, they, as the owner, they sign off on every single one of the new hires for movers. They have somebody doing it in their team, but they make sure that they meet with everybody to look them in the eye and make sure they're the right fit. That's a good selling point too, right? And we want to make sure we're getting those reviews. We need to be proactive about the reviews. The more proactive we are about the reviews, the less troublesome it will be when that random customer that was unreasonable, that you did everything you could, drops that 1-star review on you, right? You're still going to want to work to resolve that. But if part of your machine is gathering reviews, right? The numbers, they'll outweigh the bad. Your customers, people that are looking at you from the outside to decide if they're going to move with you or not, they understand that you can't make everybody happy, but you do have to have like a lot more great reviews. And then people can read between the lines and tell that one person that wrote that crazy review, something's a little off, right? So And then you also want to have your complaint resolution process dialed in. Then we're going to move over to, what is call this, ops. Okay, we'll call it ops, but servicing moves. Okay, so customer service is kind of after the move, and ops is getting movers on the truck to go do the move, right? Getting movers on the truck to go do the move. All right, so you got ops there. What you need to be focused on right now, even if you don't have, it looks like things are slow, it's time to start hiring and training movers. Right now, if you're slow, everybody's slow. What does that mean? That means their movers are looking for work because they need to eat too, right? It's hard to find movers in the middle of the summer because, if they're any good, they've got a job that's giving them a ton of hours, right? But right now is the sweet spot to find them, to hire them, to train them. Then, in ops, I want you to think about your confirmation to completion process, meaning the job's already booked. Now you're going to do a confirmation call, right? So ideally what you're doing is you're calling 7 days out in order to do a packing checkup. It's a great time to upsell packing. When you book a customer and they you're asking them, hey, do you want us to do the packing? Or are you going to be packing yourself? They're all like, I'm going to pack myself. But what happens is, for many of them, when it gets to a week out and they realize they haven't packed anything, they're feeling overwhelmed and like, oh shit, we don't have a lot of time. We got to get this done. Calling them at that point, you're providing tremendous service. For those of you that are, anti-sale, anti-upsell, I want you to spin that and look at it as service. Look at it as, I'm not calling to just get more money from the customer. That's not what it's about. Everything you do is about providing service, and that service costs money. And that money equals profits for you, but it also equals a happy customer, right? This is how you create a win-win all the way around. So if you could help eliminate the overwhelm for your customer and at least offer and suggest that you could do the packing for them, great. Okay, so that's the start of it. And 2 days out, you want to do a confirmation call where you are just going over all the details of the move with the customer. Okay, so obviously I'm giving you guys the main profit accelerators here. All right, the profit drivers in each area. Again, that 2-day call is an opportunity for upsells as well. Right? Whatever that might be. If you're selling valuation, if you're selling additional services, if you're selling, maybe you're working with a carpet cleaner or a painter, or like you're selling alarm services or cable or internet, that all could be done during that process as well. Okay? So I'm giving you kind of the main chunks here of what you need to be doing, and then we're going to talk about how to balance the wheel. The next one is booking moves or sales. Okay, booking moves or sales. So you got that there. Okay, so if you think about this, the reason we reverse engineered this today is like, look, if you're stressed to the gills, right? I know the feeling. You're not going to operate at your best. You're not going to do the things you need to do, right? So we got to get that dialed in first. If you're accounting, if you don't have a target of profit and you're just, let me book moves and service the moves, and hopefully there's some money left over at the end of the day. It might work out, but I can tell you, you're leaving money on the table, okay? And if you're not providing great customer service and you're not doing a great move, then you're just selling people into a black hole, You got to make sure that the service is solid, right? It all goes together. And so with sales, number one thing you want to remember with this is you want to sell service and not price. Service and not price. Train your consultants. Simple again, but train them, right? Take the time. If you put together your training process for moving consultants, right? Again, don't strive for perfection. Just get something on paper. Get something in a document. You know, when I first started, we trained somebody new in sales by saying, hey, sit next to this person. Watch what they do. There was no training, right? It was like, sit next to them. And it took them a long time to get up to speed. They left a lot of money on the table. They made a lot of mistakes that cost us in goodwill with the customer and customer complaints and lost revenue, okay? And also, you know, if you think about the discouragement from movers, right? You know that your movers get pissed off when the salesperson is doing a really bad job and then they have to deal with it on the move. Train them. So then we moved to like, okay, let's train them for a day. Let's train them for a week. And we ended up 2 weeks full training, paid. Why? Because it pays. It pays, you know, like if you know, we did it out of slow progression and necessity, you know. At that point, growing the call center, 60, maybe we had like, I don't know how many we had when we started this process, but you know, 50 to 70 reps on the phones. By training them, they're gonna book more jobs. They're gonna give more accurate estimates. So I'm really encouraging you, before you move into this season, to step up your training. That's your front line. That's the first person the customer speaks to, right? They've got to be on point. They need to know what to say. The third thing you need to do with sales is just manage the process, right? Just manage the process. If you think about the process as different steps along the way, right? The lead comes in. Okay, we need to contact that lead. Or the phone call comes in. Okay, we need to get that phone call, right? We think about lead management and lead distribution, who we want to get that lead to, when we want to call them back, the process of calling them back, how quick they're following up on new leads. All you've got to do, somebody must be wearing the sales manager's hat, okay? And just know, I know I'm putting myself in your shoes right now. I know many of you are like, oh shit, Louis, this is so much. Everybody take a deep breath, all right? It's all good. Right? It's just a matter of saying, hey, what do we got? What's priority for us right now? Right? And when I'll show you how to go about figuring that out. We're going to walk through this process together. So don't worry about it. Right? I know I'm giving you a lot right now. So just take a breath. Don't start thinking so much, how am I going to do this? But somebody's got to manage the sales process. And if you're the owner of the business and you don't have a sales manager yet, you're not in a position to get a sales manager yet, then you know what? You go in there and you spend 30 minutes in the morning and you review and just look, did we get a hold of this customer? You know, are we making the attempts? Are we calling? But take 30 minutes in the morning and just go and walk through each one. You could do this. Like, it all ties back to your money. You know, if you've ever felt like, I'm not sure what I need to be doing with my time, I'm not sure what really matters, that 30 minutes a day will make a huge impact on your profit and your ability to grow, okay? All right, so the last piece here, now you've got your sales in place, right? Sales is key, right? Because if you can't sell, if you're not selling the job, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And if you're leaving a lot of money on the table, then you can't afford to spend as much money as everybody else in marketing, okay? The top is marketing. The marketing fuels your sales machine, right? The marketing is not what brings you business. The marketing is what brings you opportunities to book the business. And everybody's got access to the same marketing. What's the difference? The difference is your sales process and your ability to convert is going to determine how much you could spend on marketing. Because if you have the ability to pay more for marketing than anybody else, and you're converting more of those, and you're charging higher prices, your profits will be higher. That's the secret to it all, right there, right? People that are struggling with, and if if that's you, it's okay. Like, you're here. Like, we're gonna get you out of that, right? So don't I'm not here to push anybody down by any means for struggling with any of this stuff. But it's a matter of, look, the marketing, you can't just spend money on marketing, but then send those leads into a sales process that's not converting. But when you look at your cost of acquisition, what does it cost you to get a customer, right? How much can you pay for a lead to acquire a customer? Well, if on your once you go from lead to sales, if you're booking more, your booking percentage is higher, and you're charging more, well, guess what? You could pay more for leads. If you wonder, like, how do these companies spend so much money? How are they always at the top of Google? How are they, doing this and that and this and everywhere? It's that they're maximizing those dollars with the sales process. They're charging enough money because they know their numbers, right? So now you start to see how it all comes back around, right? If we don't know our numbers, and you see that? Okay. If we don't know our numbers, we're not going to know what we could spend on marketing. If we don't have faith in our sales process, that money is just getting poured into the drain. So the last piece with marketing is, like, you must know your marketing ROI, your return on ad spend. You've got to know it. You've got to know those numbers. But I know that if you take the time to do this stuff right now and focus on the areas where you're not, where you're not up to speed, it's going to make all the difference in your profitability. Now, what we want to do is we want to take a look at this, all right? And we just want to think through, we want to look at this dot here, and that's 0, okay? And these are 10, all right? So let me just write these here. So these are 10. And the middle, the spoke there, is 0. So based on your gut right now, I want you to just think about, on a scale from 1 to 10, how are you doing in marketing? How are you doing in sales? How are you doing in operations? How are you doing in customer service? How are you doing in accounting? And then I want you to, think about how far that would go. So let's say in marketing you're at a 5. I want you to color this in real quick to a 5. And let's say sales, you're at an 8. Okay? It's not an exact science here. Let's say ops, you're at a 4. And normally you don't write the letters in there, but customer service, let's say you're doing a great job with your customers, you're at a 9. And accounting, let's say you're not doing anything, you're at a 1. So what you'll see is you'll start to see how it's filled in, all right? And if that was a wheel, how's that going to ride on the road, right? It's not balanced, so it's going to ride really bumpy. And then even if your wheel is nice and smooth, if the stuff in your life is not dialed in, it's still going to ride bumpy, right? And at the end of the day, who wants to live a bumpy life? Like, who wants to just constantly getting like jerked around all the time? That's not where we want to be. So the solution is take a look at the areas with the lowest points, right? And think of one thing for each of those. Maybe it's something we talked about today. Maybe it's something you thought of as we were going through it all, right? Or maybe it's something you're going to get as we go in the breakout groups with everybody else. But just think of one thing that you could start doing in each of those areas and think about your time frame. Like, look, you've got between now and the end of March to get this stuff dialed in, right? Because the beginning of Q2 it starts to ramp up and you're in a different place. Those of you that have been working on, you hear me talk about scaling season is October through March. That's the time to be growing, expanding, opening new locations, improving, because part of scaling is, in order to scale, you first have to stabilize and systematize, right? So all scaling should already be in motion, or I would stop at this point. Meaning, like, unless you've got plans, like unless everything's in motion already to open up another location or open up another division, now is not the time to start that process, in my opinion, okay? Most people won't take that advice that are eager and ready to go, and many of them come back and say they wish they would have. So now's the time to just say, all right, the storm is coming, summer's coming, I wanna maximize this. I want to make the most of this. Hey, my friend, before you go, you've got to hurry and watch these next few videos over here. They will absolutely help you take your moving company to the next level. Go watch them now, and I'll see you over there.